What do you take for this?
Almond milk. Hey, what's going on, everybody? For First We Feast, I'm Sean Evans, and you're watching Hot Ones. It's the show with hot questions and even hotter wings. And today we're joined by Chelsea Handler.
A hot bitch.
Whoa!
Whoa, Sally.
She's one of the world's most successful TV hosts, a writer, producer, actress, and New York Times best-selling author many times over. Speaking of her latest book, Life Will Be the Death of Me, and You Too, is set to release on April 9th, followed by a 22-date comedy tour. Chelsea Handler, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming in.
I have a bad history with chicken wings, so I wanted to come and kind of face it. I mean, I like spicy, but I don't know what's gonna happen now here. I mean, I don't know what kind of, shit you're gonna throw at me, but I'm ready for it. Okay. This is good. It's spicy, very light.
So comedy, it's full of bizarre origin stories, but I never heard of anyone who got their start at DUI class. How did that click for you? Like, did getting big laughs in the classroom give you the confidence to try stand-up?
Yes. I got a DUI when I was 21, and that scared me straight, and I haven't ever had a DUI since. But my punishment, I had to go to this DUI school where you go one night a week and they teach you how to avoid getting more DUIs. But the avoidance isn't really necessarily to stop drinking. It's like what you say to a cop when you get pulled over. And I'm like, they're enabling us to just keep drinking and driving and not get caught. And then everyone at some point had to get up and tell their story. And I was like, fuck that. I didn't want to publicly speak. I was so embarrassed. Finally, on the very last day, he's like, get up and tell your story. And I started telling everybody the story about how I called the cop a racist. We were both white. I had my sister's ID that I was using, so I got in even more trouble. And it went great. People started laughing and they were howling, and I didn't get off the stage. I'm like, this is fucking fun. And then people were like, you should do stand-up. And that's how I got the guts to do it. Yeah, I mean, it's good. This is definitely a lot spicier than the one before.
In your series Chelsea Does, there's an episode where you eat this 6-course marijuana-infused meal. Is that the trippiest dinner experience you've ever had, or does the crown still go to that Taco Bell run you did on mushrooms with Large Luke?
Thank you for bringing that up. I know that's from one of my books. I spent a lot, the marijuana-infused dinner, those are tricky because you're high for 3 or 4 fucking days.
Right.
You know what I mean? I woke up the next day and I had to shoot something and I wasn't right. I wasn't right in the head for a while. And your eyes are half cast, you're just kind of not fully awake. And I once had a marijuana facial accidentally. I didn't request it. The woman just assumed I wanted one and she wasn't wrong, but I wasn't right after that. So there's something about marijuana, putting it in your system, when it's porous.
It's different.
It is different. So the facial and the edibles, the meal of edibles, it was just I overdosed. That's why microdosing is so important, I think, because I don't want to feel like that. I want to just have a little, take the edge off and have everybody be a little bit less annoying. Where's this from? I went skiing last week.
Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
Speaking of.
And I have, I got this really bad windburn and my lips are really chapped, so this on top of it is exceptional.
You know what? That is such a poetic segue into my next question, because skiing, it's something that we don't talk about enough on Hot Ones, and it's something that you, quote, fucking love. What are the logistics of taking the chairlift when you're famous? Do you engage in that chairlift small talk, or do you just hide behind the helmet and the goggles and hope you make it to the top unrecognized?
Well, I was once on a chairlift, and I think I was in Whistler, maybe, and I was just going off about this one guy at lunch who had something, and the guy next to me goes, "Are you Chelsea Handler?" He goes, I recognize the way you say fucking idiot. And I was like, yes, thank you, I am Chelsea Handler. I definitely engage in small talk on a chairlift. I like it.
And then for a seasoned drinker, there are a few things that hold the romance of that après-ski, post-jump off the slope, socializing thing. Can you close your eyes and describe your ideal après-ski environment in as much detail as possible?
Yeah, a lot of hot men. I need a hot ski guy. So this is actually a great place to say this, because I am looking for a boyfriend now. I'm ready to be in a relationship.
And I think this is the place to announce it.
And I think this is the place to announce it. I need somebody who has a fucking life and is a great skier.
Okay.
Those are the two things. And I don't want them to be a ski guide. I want them to do skiing in their spare time, and then they have some business that they're in that's outside of skiing. It could be anything. Almost anything. You know what I mean?
Do you worry about climate change as it relates to the shortening ski season, or is that too big an asshole concern to open with when you're talking about environmental issues?
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty jackass thing to say.
Right.
I don't think about climate change with relation to skiing. Like this year, for instance, is a great ski season. Everyone's getting dumped on. There's tons of snow everywhere in the States, so it can work in both ways. These are getting hotter.
Yeah, that's how the game goes.
I almost just swallowed my tongue. It went like it jolted back.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, we got a ways to go.
Yeah, my lip is really burning. Where is it from?
Yes, Long Island.
So is the wing from Long Island? Or is the
Yeah.
sauce from Long Island?
All the sauces are local. The
Okay.
wings we source from throughout the country.
Okay. And how do you source them? Who's your source?
Well,
Are you into, is this like, you just are a wing lover, you've always eaten wings? Or is this just,
we just were trying to solve for a problem, which is like interview shows, celebrity interview shows are boring. How do we make them not
tell me
boring?
about it. Fucking boring as shit.
Do you have a take on the state of celebrity interview shows? Like, is the late night format failing its audience, or is that a position that's a little overstated?
No, I think there's an audience. I mean, people like that stuff. It's just, it's what you're into. I don't love interviewing celebrities, you know what I mean? I've done it for like 10 years, so it's not my favorite thing to do. I'd rather talk to a real person, like you.
Wow, I'll take that.
Yeah, take it however you want to. I don't like being fake ever. So my problem is,
That's what I like about you.
with a lot of those interviews, you have to be fake, and it's just not my game. You haven't had a sip of your milk.
Not yet, not yet.
I'll feed you after.
I'll catch you.
I'll breastfeed you after. It'll be fine. Some people eat the bones.
Like you.
I took a bite of a bone. That's what I'm saying. I just want to act like other people do it too. I accidentally masticated a bone. And if no one was here, I'd fucking eat the bone.
All right, Chelsea, we have a recurring segment on our show called Explain That Gram, where we do a deep dive on our guest's Instagram, pull interesting pictures that need more context. So I'll bust out the laptop, I'll show you the picture, you tell me the bigger story. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, laptop, please.
I haven't had a glass of milk since I was like,
Is this your first glass of milk in a while?
it's almond milk, so it's kind of like pussy milk. You know what I mean? It's not milk.
Is this the Miss New Jersey era, Chelsea Handler?
Well, I did Miss Teen New Jersey, and they told me I needed to lose 15 pounds. I was like 14 or 15. So then I lost 15 pounds, as you can tell in that fucking picture, and went to this other pageant, and the guy was a total shyster. Like, he screwed everybody over. My parents paid like $3,000 to get me in the pageant. You take all these classes, and like, you have to learn how to dance and have a talent, do your hair like that. And then there was never any pageant. So my parents got fucked over
yeah,
in
it's
a
like,
beauty
like
pageant.
a fire festival situation.
Exactly. It's exactly what it was without, right. It was less fun though, because I was with my parents.
Here you are yelling at a guy for
Yeah.
wearing a robe to a restaurant. Do you remember this confrontation?
That's in Whistler, and a guy came over and asked me for a picture with him. And I was like, you're in a restaurant in a robe. Excuse me, I just burped. You're in a restaurant in a robe. You can't ask me for a picture. You're fucking inappropriate. Like, your balls are under there, and food is nearby. And look at him trying to defend himself. We took the picture. Yeah,
Eventually you folded on that?
I just said, listen, this is your morning. I hope I don't see you again in this outfit.
Two more for you, Chelsea. What was the most majestic animal you saw while on safari? Mary McCormick and Charlize Theron.
Oh, and Charlize's mom and my cousin Molly are in that picture, yeah.
Shout out.
Being on safari is like the fucking best experience of all
safaris.
time. It's right up there with skiing without the activity. You could just stare at those animals for hours. It's gorgeous. I mean, the elephants and the mat, like, you see how big they are and how protective they are. It's just beautiful. I could sit there and watch a lion just sitting there for like 2 or 3 hours. So, you bring your cocktails in the car, they make you these little like lunches, and you just get shit-faced while you're like at the zoo.
Yeah, it's a nice vibe.
Yeah, totally.
And then one more for you, Chelsea. This is a classic Chelsea Handler thirst trap. Can you give me one time? Can you give me
It is.
Can you give me one time when you were unfairly targeted by Instagram's community guidelines, and then one time where you thought, maybe they have a point?
I I don't know. It's a tricky subject to say that women aren't allowed to be topless when you guys can just walk around like
Nipples
assholes,
firing all
nipples
over
everywhere.
the
It's
place,
like,
yeah.
why are our nipples not available?
I
Like,
agree
why
with
is
you
it not
100%.
okay for us to be topless? Because it's sexual? Like, why? I was also coming into my own. I had a boyfriend that made fun of my boobs because for being too big. And when we broke up, that's when I went on my topless rampage because I had another guy who was like, these are great. What are you talking about? I'm like, you know what? They are great. My boyfriend I had for a couple of years was like, your boobs are too big. They're not elegant. I'm like, fuck
Elegant?
you. So when we broke up, that was my
Coming out party.
Yeah, that was my coming out party. And you know what? My tits are fucking awesome. So I'm fucking happy about them. Are you eating yours fully? Because I feel like I'm doing more eating than you are.
I'll go bite for bite with you, Chelsea.
It's not
all right?
competition, but I'm just curious.
Well, you did bring it up. It was semi-confrontational. You know,
Everything
I
I
do
say-
feel challenged.
Everything I say is sort of semi-confrontational, and I don't even mean it. I don't know why people, like when people say, oh, you're such a bitch, or you're, intimidating, or I'm scared of you, I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, listen to you talk. I get it now. I've heard myself talk, I understand.
When you left Chelsea lately, one of the notes that you went out on was that you were happy to not have to worry about what the Kardashians were doing from time to time or know every headline in the tabloids. But I'm curious now, do you experience some of the same burnout with this 24-hour news cycle and this
God,
every day
so
is
annoying.
Armageddon thing?
I hate it. But there is a steady diet of news. I think it's reading the news, being informed, so you're not an idiot. Like, I don't want to be uninformed. I want to know what's going on, but I don't want to be angry all day.
Right.
So, and now I have the tools to do that. I get up, I meditate on Headspace. I've never been like, I was like, fuck meditation. I'm so sick of people talking about mindfulness and meditation. Cut to. I wake up every morning, I'm like, Headspace, put it on.
Which was more of a viper's nest to navigate? PC culture of the 2000s versus, this like Twitter woke era. Are
Right.
they the same thing or is there a distinguishable
Well,
difference?
I mean, right now we're in a PC phase too. Everybody, with Me Too and Time's Up, like everyone wants to be an ally and an advocate too, or not everybody does, but I mean, mostly people in Hollywood are trying to do the right thing, and it's like it's tricky. You don't want to say the wrong. I just filmed a documentary for Netflix on white privilege, and I offended a million people while we were filming that. Every day I was getting into trouble by asking hard questions, but instead of looking at it as a hindrance, I try to look at it as getting a better understanding. We're in a period of overcorrection, I think, and hope because we have to correct the behavior.
Right, so it goes hard to
So
the
it goes
right,
hard,
hard
yeah,
to the
and then
left.
we-
Eventually got to get the car.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be able to hit on guys at work, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping that we can all figure this out soon. I like garlic a lot. It's too bad whoa, that's hot. Mm-hmm. It's not pleasant hot either. It's like, it's offensive.
The garlic's not saving it for you. huh?
No, it's like hurts my roof of my mouth. I'll finish it though. Do I have to finish each wing?
You don't have to.
Well, what are the rules here? I'd like some rules. need parameters.
Yeah, so I want it to be like the most uncomfortable, comfortable interview. That being said, if you like rules, people seem to respect the people who go hard on the wings,
Is that right? Thank you.
For the people,
Yeah, it's for the... Oh, it's burning.
Yeah. In your book, Life Will Be the Death of Me, you pull back
Excuse me,
the
sorry,
curtain.
I interrupted you. Go again. Do you like how I'm directing this?
I like it. Take the wheel, Chelsea. So in your book, Life Will Be the Death of Me, you pull back the curtain on this year-long self-exploration. First things first, is the cover photoshopped or your chow chows just that well-behaved that they can just sit there for the photograph?
No, my dogs don't fuck around. They sit there and it's not photoshopped. I mean, I'm sure it's photoshopped on my face and stuff, but not the dogs. My dogs are a little bit of assholes. I have 2 chows, and they're part chow, they're part Rottweiler, which I found out when I got their 23andMe done. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want a Rottweiler. They'll be with me if they have to, but they prefer my cleaning lady, my Belle. And so when she leaves every day at like 4 or 5, they sit at the door and stare out the window. And then at 9 or 10 o'clock, when I'm going upstairs to my room, I have to put them both on a fucking leash, bring them up to my room like prisoners, and put them in there.
Did you visit a shaman this year?
No, I did that a couple of years ago for a special. I did the Ayahuasca, which I also wrote about, because it was an awesome experience, and
Yeah.
I would recommend it to anybody who can handle like really hallucinating.
What's that like? How is it different than mushrooms?
Mushrooms are more joyful, like laughy, in my experience. Ayahuasca was more like you see this fast forward iPod shuffle of your life and you're not in it. Like, so I saw myself as a little girl running on the beach with my sister, playing with our dog that I had forgotten and we had as a kid. Like, every memory's real and it's just somewhere in your psyche and it just lets it out. And it just gives you this overwhelming kind of, you feel love. Like, it's not like ecstasy where you want to fuck. It's like you feel, overcome with your emotions for, in my instance, it was my sister, but a lot of people feel it for their spouse or their kid. You know, I don't have those, so I have to find love somewhere else. Okay. This is red.
Yeah.
Oh, this is too spicy. This is too much. This is the bomb?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh dear.
Yeah.
This is where people go off the rails.
Yeah. Why do rappers make the best talk show guests?
You know why. It's too spicy. That's too spicy.
It's wild. If you look at our guest list, it's clear that we love hip-hop artists too, but I don't think it's unfair to say that they are by far the latest guests. Has that ever posed a logistical challenge for you or your crew?
Oh, fuck. What do you take for this?
Almond milk.
Is it the... I can't. I'm trying to think about something else.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
You okay, Chelsea?
Yeah, I mean, I got... Can I have some Vaseline for my lips?
Do we have any Vaseline in the building?
But rappers are late.
Yes.
And I once had, who was it? P. Diddy? He was 3 hours late.
Come on in.
Sealing the spice. Oh, fuck. All right, I'm gonna take a break from the wings and try and answer your questions. I'm slurring. 50 Cent, obviously, everyone knows I dated him. Or maybe some people don't. I mean, that would be great. But 50 Cent was so late to my show when I had him on that he sent me because I yelled at him when he got there and I was like, that's fucking irresponsible and blah, blah, blah. And he sent me flowers every day and filled up my office with flowers, like hundreds of bouquets of flowers. And finally I was just like, I better have sex with this guy because, I mean, how am I gonna get him to stop? You know what I mean?
Right.
P. Diddy came to my show and was so obnoxious and so late, and I went off on him on the show. I waited, I didn't see him, and I was like, I'm gonna approach this differently because I didn't want to also have to sleep with P. Diddy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I waited and I just yelled at him on camera during the interview. And that felt very satisfying. I don't know if I can eat anymore.
Yeah.
What happens now if I don't? I just can't handle it and I can't talk.
So that's
Which is maybe the goal. You to get me to shut the fuck up. Like, this is like if you want to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, this is what the label should be. If you want to take an edible that's going to knock you down, it should also look like the bomb.
Right. You know, that's where you can't get mad at it. Don't eat me is basically what the label says.
What do you want me to do? Take another bite? I mean, our communication is really dwindling. I feel like.
Here, I'm still connected.
Are you?
I'm still connected. Mm-hmm.
I'm connected to not continuing to eat these wings, but if you need me to, I will.
I really respect that. And I know that you're at this moment. And
Yeah.
You're like, well, what is
I'm at
this?
a turning point.
Yeah, I know.
Like Beyonce was with whatever. When was she at a turning point? What was that movie or the song? Turn, turn, turn. I think that was Bonnie Tyler.
But it's like you're so close to the top of the mountain.
And then what happens at the mountain? I die at the top, at the peak.
You
See,
know,
I don't care.
I don't
I'm not
know. There's no
competitive that
real-
way.
right, and
People
there's no
always say,
real-
"Oh, you'll accomplish something." Climbing. Like, I don't hike because I don't give a shit.
You do hike sometimes.
Well, I hike.
Yeah.
What? No, I don't think I hike. When did you? How do you know what I'm up to?
Because, you know, I do a lot of reading on you
Yeah,
before.
I don't hike. No, I don't. I'm not into hiking in LA. I don't think the views are that pretty here.
Yeah.
If I'm in some great location, I'll go hiking. Like South Africa, they have this thing called Lion's Head.
Right.
And I did that hike.
You did do that hike,
Yeah,
and you
that
got
was
to
cool.
the top, and it was a beautiful
that was
picture.
beautiful. That's where like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You really do your research. Wow. That's interesting. Good for you. You take your job seriously.
Oh, thank you, Chelsea.
Well, I mean, you're welcome.
All right. I know.
Okay. All right, I'm just gonna let this one go, right?
That's fine. That's
Because
fine.
I tried it, and I don't want to deal with that
Right.
again.
Let's move on. Let's turn the page.
I just want to just fucking straight shot it. You know what I mean? Get the chicken wing in and just not even deal with chewing them.
Well. So.
Hot?
Yeah.
That's hot. A different kind of hot.
I don't know what you have working behind the scenes, but there is a lot of great press about what an amazing boss you are. Is it true that when you were at Chelsea lately, you had set up scholarship funds for the employees' babies that you worked with?
I did do that. Yeah, that's funny. I only hear bad things about myself.
Really?
That I'm a bitch, you know, that I'm difficult, that I'm, I don't know, any bad things. But you always hear that stuff. I don't, you know, you never listen to the good stuff, or maybe you just don't hear the good stuff. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, I did fucking get them college funds for all their fucking kids.
Do you think that HR departments focus too much on discouraging office romance?
Yeah, first of all, well, there shouldn't be harassment. I think like people should be allowed the freedom as adults to participate in a relationship with each other. Also, I feel that people, if they need to get high to be at work, go for it. As long as you're responsible and you want to do, if you want to have a cocktail in the middle of the day, you should also be able to do that if you can act responsibly. It's people who abuse a situation and think that they're in a position of power and can like harass somebody. That's totally not acceptable. And I think a lot of us don't realize how much that was going on in every world, you know, until this whole Me Too movement happened. I think it's made us all just kind of like look at ourselves and say, okay, this behavior is not acceptable. Can't touch people on their bodies. It's not received well. Some people don't have issue with it and some people do. So you just have to operate on the fact that everyone's going to take issue with it and behave yourself, which is why it's a good thing I don't have a TV show right now because I would probably have lawsuits against me. I've never done anything sexually inappropriate. Well, that's not true. I probably have done that too. I don't know. I'm inappropriate as a general rule, so I just have to keep to myself for a while.
All right, Chelsea.
It's actually Tracy.
Oh, I feel so stupid.
Yeah, I know. It's Tracy, so I don't know why.
This is the last dab, Tracy. We call it the last dab because it's tradition around here to put a little extra on the last wing. You don't have to if you don't want to.
I'm not doing anything I want to do with these wings. That's enough.
That's fine. That's
Ooh.
fine. Sorry.
See what happened there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It erupted.
That's good luck. Cheers.
Cheers, Chelsea. Tracy. Whatever your name is.
I'll let you where I didn't put the sauce. I'm gonna push you out on this last one. Look, food just flew out of my mouth. I told you guys that was gonna happen.
All right, Chelsea Handler, here we are at the end of our journey, and we've touched on a lot today, but one thing we haven't touched on yet is that you're something of a guru about self-improvement, and you're not an asshole about it. And always committed to the next day, turning the page on to bomb, always self-improving. So, now that you have the hot sauce coursing through your veins, the death wings like a truth serum, eroding that already non-existent bullshit meter that Chelsea Handler has, can you give the people out there, the viewers, a chart, a path to being an adult? Like what's worth trying and what's not worth wasting your time with?
That's funny you mentioned that because I'm reading this book. It's called Essentialism, and it's about getting all the clutter out of your life and focusing on doing, say, 2 things really great instead of 8 things mediocre. So by not doing my show, by taking the year to write a book, to film a documentary, I do feel like the quality has risen. And so I would advise anybody to stop saying yes to everything and focus on the things that you really want to excel at. For me, is being a fucking badass skier and being a great writer.
Well, if Tracy Handler says it, then you know it's the truth. And look at you, 10 chicken wings up, 10 chicken wings down, and now there's nothing left to do but roll out the red carpet for you, Chelsea Handler. This camera, this camera, this camera. Let the people know what you have going on in your life.
I have a new book. It's called Life Will Be the Death of Me, and I'm coming to a city near you. I'm doing a sit-down comedy tour with celebrity guests in each city that will be interviewing me on stage, so you can get your tickets at livenation.com. And then I have a documentary coming out in the summer on Netflix. Thank
job,
you.
Chelsea. Good job.
This is fun. Ready? Let's gargle it together. I would spit this out, but we know what that looks like. So thank you. Thank you for watching.
Hey, what's going on, Hot Ones fans? This is Sean Evans checking in from the Museum of Curiosities with a very exciting sauce update. If you have not subscribed to the Hot Ones monthly subscription box, April is the month to do it. Why? Well, first off, limited edition sticker. But second, because this box is going to have 3 hot sauces that have never before been tasted, never been released, never before seen until this month. They're all made by hot sauce makers that have previously been featured on Hot Ones. That's right, 3 bottles of hot sauce no one's ever seen before, no one's ever tasted before, no one's ever touched until you reach into that box and pull it out and put it on your Caesar chicken wrap for the very first time. That's April's subscription box, 3 bottles, $30, plus a limited edition sticker. Who's looking out for you? Us.